Will you please open your videos, or you can unmute yourself and say something regarding what all things we have discussed today? Anybody can. Just a progress taking, and simply sitting for a long time won't be a good practice for education. Please. Anybody, please? Dr. Deepika?
Yes, ma'am. हाँ जी मैम.
Are you able to say something?
Yes, ma'am. I am here.
You please tell me about what we have discussed in the earlier session. Do you have any idea about it? What all things you have heard? Just something. That is good. I think otherwise the class will be monotonous, no? If I am the one who is sitting and telling throughout the session, won't be a good practice for us. Please.
Ma'am, you were telling about adult education, like definitions you have discussed, various components you have talked about, and you were also telling like framework. You were discussing like national curriculum framework for adult education. Ma'am, here I want to mention one thing. NCRT recently worked on 4 curriculum frameworks. So 2 curriculum frameworks have already launched: NCF FS for foundational stage and NCF school education. And ma'am, NCF adult education is also under process. And the content for adult education is also NCRT is working a lot on that. So recently we have worked on UJAS primer, ma'am. So this is on 4 parts basically. UJAS part 1, 2, 3, 4. I just want to mention that various assessments, worksheets, test papers are being developed by NCRT.
For adult education.
Yes, ma'am. And
Let
ma'am,
me
they have
remind others.
launched.
Please, 1 second, please. Let me remind others. I think what Dr. Deepika Gupta is telling is very needed information, because in the next now the upcoming session means upcoming minutes, we'll be discussing about the current practices of adult education in India. In that, her points will be very much relevant, I think, because she is
Ma'am,
working on that. Yeah. So please,
thank.
others may please note all these points what you people are discussing. That is why I am giving you an opportunity to discuss, because um, you have hands-on experience in this particular area, isn't it? So
Yes,
what you
ma'am.
are telling is very much relevant, and it will be helpful for your further studies in this area. So please, others also can contribute. Okay, continue, please.
Ma'am, there is a platform of Government of India. This is Diksha. So NCRT has launched one component on Diksha, and they have named as Education for All. So
Yes.
on that vertical, various study materials are available. Anyone can access these materials, ma'am. So these are worksheets, assessment booklets also. And ma'am, almost 18 states has already conceptualized these UJAS primers. Like Gujarat, they have contextualized in Gujarati, and other various states like Jammu and Kashmir, Dogri, and all languages they have contextualized. And in our Chandigarh, we have not changed the language, but we have contextualized the content provided by NCRT. So we recently we are going to launch it, ma'am.
Okay, okay, good. Can you give the link? Can you share the link
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
chat,
Yes,
please?
yes, ma'am. Yes, I can share, ma'am.
Yes, others can utilize it then. You
Yes,
can
ma'am.
copy
Sure.
it in your, yeah, please.
Yes, ma'am.
This is what actually the counseling sessions, what all means we are like a resource person, means, isn't it? The participants are also highly educated people and the part of this thing, and you can also contribute more than us, I think. You are the real practitioners in this field. So you can give, and that has to be benefited to others also. That is what we are aiming from this counseling sessions. So please share that link to others. Others can utilize it for having a look in the new initiatives in the modern India.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely, I'll be sharing it, ma'am.
And do you have, you people can have a WhatsApp group or something?
No, ma'am. We are not, ma'am. We are
This is
having
the
a,
first class, no?
WhatsApp
This is
group.
the first class.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think if you people now only four are there, but four can make a WhatsApp group with if you are sharing each other, somebody has to take the initiative for that. Then you can be in a group and you can facilitate each other for your studies, I think. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I can make group, ma'am. If they would share their mobile number in their chat box, then
Hmm.
I can make the group, ma'am.
Please do it. We can utilize
Oh,
this time for that also.
all right, ma'am. All
That
right.
is what actually this counseling sessions are to provide that type of opportunities among you. Otherwise, this is a, you do you know that this is a nodal counseling session. That means for the programs which are low enrollment number, we are providing classes through some nodal offices. Some regional centers are identified as nodal regional centers for this program. This regional center Trivandrum is providing the classes all over India, and they are providing the support services all over India through which. So you can be the leaders of this one because you are now participating in this program. So we can be in touch with also further for your further things as an academic counselor. I can help you, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm. So you have some project, other components are also there. So the PGD program who is doing can also continue for this as a modular approach. You can join for the second year also. Yes, with 1 year, you can continue your MA adult education program. That is also there.
Okay, ma'am.
Anyway, it will be helpful if you people are getting together. If such an initiative is there, definitely others will also join. Gradually, we can make a group of all students, all India base. And I don't think that academic counseling sessions are only for translating the studies material content. No, it is for giving you all the support services needed. If you have any doubt on that at any time, you can communicate with the academic counselor. We will be providing you all the help. So many doubts will be there. And at first, you have to. Do you have your program guide with you? I'm asking you all five.
Yes, ma'am, we have.
You have. Otherwise, you have to download it, please. Please
Okay.
download the program guide from eGangosh. Then you keep in the IGNU website, you can easily search it and find it out. You download it and go through the program guide. Actually, that program guide provides you all the details regarding the scheme and syllabus of this program, scheme and syllabus of this MA Adult Education program. So how many papers are there, the content given in that, and what all activities you have to be engaged with, and how you can prepare your assignments, at what time it has to be submitted, and all the matters related to your studies in IGNO is given in the program guide, and it is very much needed for you in future also, because if you are asking for some equivalency, there is no provision for equivalency, not no need of, not provision, no need of equivalency, because UGC has approved IGNU programs as equivalent programs to all other universities, and what all programs you are doing through IGNU, no need to have equivalency from any other universities in India. That notification is there in UGC website, so that difficulty is not there. Everywhere our programs are approved. But if you want to have some genuineness certificate or something for your further matters or professional attachment, you it's always advisable that keeping the program guide with you is good. It will help you in many ways. That is one. And you have one project work, no? Hmm?
Ma'am, in
PGD is
diploma.
it is not there. What about
Yes, ma'am.
MA second year? You are first year students. You don't know about it. For all that hands-on experiences and your research things, this program guide will be helpful to you. So do one thing: download. If you didn't download yet, keep it with you, and it will be a helping guide for you because you are distance learners. Always the teachers are not available with you. That is also there. And you can use my number also. I'll put it in the chat. If you have any doubt, together we can search it and find it out. I am so busy with my office work, so even though I think being an academic counselor, I can help you a little bit. My name is Dr. Jalajakumari, Assistant Regional Director of Indira Gandhi National Open University, Regional Center, Kochi. Okay. Others can also, yeah, you have shared also already. So, Dr. Deepika,
Yes, ma'am.
anybody can, you can be the admin, I think. Others can also, if interested, you can put them in admin post and you can share.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
That's good, I think.
I'll share that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Ma'am, I'm not able to see your number. Have you shared it on the chat box?
Yeah, I have.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Now it's visible, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank.
So that is also a thing. Now, let us continue. Anybody,
Yes, ma'am.
anybody, anybody? Naim Parveen, anything to discuss? Are you there? Neha?
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 Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
One of you can. Yeah.
One of you can. Yeah.
Where can I download the assignments from? The questions. Ma'am, you're muted.
Let me share this first. After that, I'll show you. I'm sharing the window, the whole thing, because in IGNOU website, hello. Hello. Yeah. Can you see this screen?
No, ma'am.
No. Now you can see, no?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
See, here the student support. You have registered from here, no? For this program. Now, you can go to downloads. Some issues there. Some net issues there, I think. It is not opening. But the thing I'll show you, this is the downloads. No, some net issues there. I don't know why. Anyway, this is the provision given for downloading the things. Here it downloads. Here also it is there. If you click on this, you can find out the assignments. In downloads, it is assignments. Then you download the assignment. What is happening? Reflection is there, no? Okay, from downloads, I don't know why some net issue is there. That is why it's not coming. We can try again. No issue. Anyway, it is the information to you. From this downloads, you can download your assignments. I'm not seeing now. Some server issues there. That's why. Okay, come to our point. I'll give you after some time when the net is stable. I'll give you this slide. You can see, no?
Yes, ma'am.
We have stopped here. Now, we were telling about some initiatives in the medieval India, and now in 1920s means post-Indian independence period. Again, we were telling about night schools, and awareness programs were given for the adults through films, public lectures, and discussions were organized by social, cultural, and political organizations. So many libraries were opened, and community development projects, including some constructive programs. And the main provinces in Bombay, Burma, and the central provinces in Punjab, there were 3,450 registered night schools were there, and almost 1,17,000 learners engaged and enrolled in these night schools. Adult learners were enrolled, and in Bengal, Bihar, and Madras, 7,768 night schools were there, and there also more than 1,87,000 learners were there. Of all the places in India, Punjab was in forefront of literacy efforts first in 1920s. This happened in 1920s. And as early as 1921, a literacy campaign was launched in the province of Punjab, which was it was the forefront initiative for adult education movement in India, we can say, in 1921. And again, starting with the 630 night schools with an enrollment of 17,760 adult learners in 1922-23 year. It increased to 3,784 night schools. It started with the 630, but in 2023, started in 21 with the 630, and 22-23 year, the number of schools increased up to 3,784 with an enrollment of 98,414 by 2627. That much increase was happened in India this 1920s, and so many other efforts. Non-NGOs were also being included in this efforts. YMCA in Calcutta, Madras, Bombay, the Servants of India Society of Pune, Seva Southern Society of Bombay, then Devada Reconstruction Trust in Madras, Bengal Society for the Improvement of Backward Classes, Bengal Social Service League, and cooperative schools of the United Provinces. They all had considerable interest they showed in promotion of the adult education programs of that post-independent India. And some other professional societies for imparting adult education were, see, in Kanpur, Economic Association of Kanpur, Rural Reconstruction Association of Benares, Bombay Sanitary Association, then Saksharada Prasarak Mandal, Bombay Literacy Association. These were some of the major initiatives or major associations for imparting adult education, and adult education program became a mass education system among the public through lectures, films, and so many slides, and that type of projective techniques were used for health education, and other social education aspects, economics, political even, was given through these societies. These were reported in this book. And what are the other initiatives? Just we can have a look. In 1948 to 67, social education programs were conducted, and functional literacy programs. The period is also given here. National Adult Education Program, programs of National Literacy Mission. These are the main areas of main institutions which provided adult education programs after 1947 for the growth of public education, means mass education programs through adult education in India. And then the other regional and national scenarios were there for literacy activities, and they considered the need for literacy at that period, this time. So, literacy initiative for empowerment, they have taken life concerns as a whole, and they started literacy initiative programs for the empowerment of the public. And regional literacy missions started in different regions, and they were focusing on the eradication of the gender differences, means gender gaps in literacy rates. At that time, women literacy was very low, and women were not imparting in this, because especially because of these night schools. We can imagine and we can understand that at that time only men were participating in night schools, no women were not participating. This made a big gap in the literacy rate with respect to gender. So later, when the development of adult education happened, the need of literacy among the whole people was considered, and initiatives were taken for considering the gap, eradicating the gap in the gender perspective. Then illiterate, they have done a lot of surveys to find out the rate of literacy in all states in India, and number of illiterates in some areas were identified as high, and local preference was given, and regional importance. Thus, in a global perspective, we were giving nationally all the programs. Later, by finding out through researches the gender gap and the rate of illiterate people, what happened is later the initiatives were doing regional literacy practices, and thus long-term objectives were also included with the literacy practices. Everywhere in India, literacy programs were started, and finally, after getting literacy, what people will think. People became interested to engage with other lifetime practices, and the objectives have been changed, and the objectives of literacy programs have been changed to other commitments with the literary objectives. Means not literacy, but this literacy has been developed or converted into other objectives of life. Means professional development, other abilities of the people may have to be developed. Like that, the objectives of adult education has become into another scenario, and they have focused to regional languages also. Now, the National Education Policy 2020 is focusing on the development of regional languages. Why? Because the literacy programs and the continuing literacy programs, continuing education programs imparted through regional language regionally, means where the lagging is more, where the gap is more. Thus, the areas were identified, and the regional wise programs as per the need of the society was imparted, and the objective of adult education was changed to some other ways. Hence, policies were developed, because when the programs becomes institutionalized, or the policy matter of a nation, financing and monitoring, like that, all the developmental aspects will come across the way of adult education. For that, the governance was done through policies, and it became a continuous education program as a continuing education program, and it became lifelong activity with international and national perspectives. So simply at the first stage of it, it was for eradicating the illiteracy and making people literates. And finally, it became the part of the policy of the nation, and education, adult education became a continuing education process as lifelong education, and it was merged with national and international perspectives, because once the adults who have gained the objectives of the basic literacy programs, they will be able to approach higher ends of life. Then their lives, that means the field of experience will be broadened national to international. So in such a way, a lot of policies were developed. The first one is in 1950s and 60s, fundamental education policies came out. Functional literacy policies came out. And on the basis of the uh, radical approach to literacy of Paulo Freire, what happened? The objective of education became critical, critical thinking. What is mean by critical thinking? Critical thinking is making people or the students to be able to think critically, and they will be able to uh, able to reflect on the matters going on in our society and in our nation. That is constructive education, actually. So, when education becomes constructive, that is the ultimate aim of objective education, objectives of education, formal education, especially social education. So, constructivism becomes the most highly patterned, or the framework of education became constructive, and at the same time, along with the public education system, the adult education system also became as a policy of that type of critical education. And on the basis of that, I told you already about the pedagogy of the oppressed, and the oppressed means the majority of the people are oppressed. So when the pedagogy becomes made for oppressed, that becomes massive education. So if we know that in ancient India, the education processes, especially the adult education processes, were common. Public education was also for an elite group. But after taking the philosophical policies or the uh, uh, educational policy of the nation became very liberal and public oriented. What happened? Education scenario became into a critical way and reflective pedagogy, that is constructive pedagogy. Constructive pedagogy means reflective pedagogy, means it made people to think about the happenings around on all matters of our life, because it is not in a democratic setup. When education becomes democratic, people will also be the part of our development of our nation. Never we can think a development of a nation without the participation of the beneficiaries or the public. So we are making the public as the part of our developmental aspects. That itself is the ultimate aim of education, that is developmental education and social education. So these policies made the syllabus of adult education too as a massive education process, and the concept of literacy became broadened to the higher end objectives of learning. So now, Madam was also telling about so many other uh, initiatives of NCT. Now, the adult education programs of India has taken a particular place in educational process by broadening the concept of literacy. Literacy is not mere the 3 R's for reading, writing, and this arithmetic, but beyond that, literacy became, and the adult learners or the people who have benefited from adult education became the part of the public democratic education. That is the broadening concept of literacy in 1880s became the policy of our education, and emphasis was growing in adult education literacy learning after 2002 at present. That is, the change happened in the post-independence period in adult education. And these things have been very elaborately written in your study material. So if the titles are familiar to you, it will be easy for you to grasp all the matters given under this one. And as a result, fundamental education policies came. I'll give you a little bit details regarding all these policies. Fundamental literacy policy, literacy acquisition as an essential aspect of individual development and human right. That is the policy of 1950s to 60s in fundamental. So it became, education became a right of the people, right of the learner or the public. So literacy acquisition is essential. Without being being a literate, we cannot survive in the modern society. Like that, a concept came that made to lead the public to fundamental education. Means if one person is getting an education a lower level, continuously he has to go up for attaining the further stages of their education. And functional literacy was focusing on the human capital model of education. Think what is the human capital? You know that if the human becomes resource and becomes the capital, that is why human resource concept came. Human itself is a capital for the development of the nation. That is a model of education for India became in 1960s and 70s. You know that the education policies of Kothari Commission was very important and crucial for that time, because it has given the basis of Indian education. It means post-Indian independence education. From there itself, all the other education commissions have been evolved and developed. Even that 2020 Education Commission has the contributions taken from this Kothari Commission, and we are growing up, we are moving ahead with the contributions of this concept. Education is to make people as a resource or a capital, and literacy is not mere the literacy, but it is a necessary condition for economic growth and national development. Hence, functional literacy became, it was considered for for enhancing of productivity. If the human became capital and resource, then only that the nation becomes productive, and thus the lifelong education in the expanded concept of functional literacy became, and it was incorporated in divergent phases of human life, and for compassing the whole concerns of life. Thus, adult education also became the part of our massive education. And what is the radical approach? Because we were telling about the radical approach of Paulo Freire's philosophy in 1970s. Acquisition of basic literacy skills, not for the end of it, but as a means to create the conditions for developing critical consciousness about one's social reality and for making necessary action to challenge and change it. So, a society means a growing society, a developing society means a changing society. If a society has to change, the people has to think in a changing way. From where they will get it? From education. So education should be for social change. So actually, the process which makes social change is called education. In such a way also we can redefine it. So education is for social change, and social change will make education in a changed manner. So both will come under radical approach. So literacy has a jerk. It had a jerk in 1970s to the radical approach of education from mere literacy on the basis of this principles evolved by Paulo Freire, etc. And for the transformational society. These terminologies are very important. The society, the transformative literacy made transformative society. That is the importance of 1970s. Then it broadened the concept of literacy through the means of meeting the basic needs of the people. Not only the children, but not only the child, but youth and adults. When it comes under the adults, our education platform comes. So, endorsement of literacy as an indispensable skill for lifelong learning and community engagement. So, see how gradually the concept of literacy or adult education becomes to the end of this thing. That is what one of the other matter. Then, again, in 2010 to the present time, the whole scenario has been changed. The emphasis on adult education and literacy became an essential part of our society. And the education is, and the ministry itself is thinking that what all matters lagging in the formal education system can be attained through adult education in continuing education. So, recognization of the challenges of the literacy for social and economic development was happened, and now we are focusing in the adult education for development of essential skills. Here also we can update the material and we can integrate with the National Education Policy 2020 that the skill education is becoming the prime matter of education. From the small stage itself, children may be encouraged to do their education for skill development, because without skill, we cannot survive. Finally, whatever things we have learned, it has to be come to under hands-on experience. Just theoretical knowledge and the degrees we are acquiring through the theoretical learning won't give any benefit to our life. From the Western world, why the importance of education in abroad countries is increasing day by day, but the emphasis given for that hands-on experience and skill development in education makes us to be competent with the international world and the globalized education scenario. Definitely it will give outlook and it will enhance the skill of the people in India. When the people of India become skilled in all labors, because we need the labor sectors, not only the white collar jobs, but the whole laborers are needed to be trained as skilled persons for the development of India. Our startups, our this type of making India projects are actually based on this concept. We are framing the curriculum framework, and we are integrating multi skills and hands-on experiences in practical components, fieldwork components, etc., to integrate with the skill development objective of education. So that is the essence of the adult education framework of 21st century. So we will integrate. So mere nowadays adult education is not at all for literacy, because we have almost attained the literacy, and wherever it is lagging we have to find it out, and that literacy programs have to be given as a continuous process in that area. And further in 2000 means 2000 means from 2000 to till time, the present time, we are focusing the development of such kind of educational practices even through adult education. Hence, the national policy perspectives came. In 1996, national policy is there. The current national policy is also in this perspective with the historical overview that the marginality of adult education in development planning towards the nationwide program of adult education, what changes has been come, and the shifting approach of adult education and the campaign of adult education from literacy to the latest skill development programs, and the all these things have to be considered in this perspective, historical perspective. I was summarizing everything in again in this points, that where we have started our adult education programs, now where we have reached. So definitely this will again change in the later stages of education, and now environmental education is also coming across the in adult education programs in a very decentralized way through local self-governments, what all needed for the sustenance of our life. Now we are facing a lot of things in sustenance of our life because of the pollution, cleanliness, the scarcity of pure drinking water, even we don't have a good atmosphere to breathe. And that type of needs are arising now. So definitely we have to have a vision on that. Such a vision we should have. And now the adult education programs in several means in the university also. That is why outreach and extension programs, one terminology is there in education. So UGC and other education apex bodies are focusing on that. Dr. You can, Deepika, you can also contribute something, I think. Others also can. Because the extension outreach programs, I am remembering that what was told by one of our students in the initial moments, that she wants to have some adult education activities to implement among the adult farmers. How in a sustainable way they can cultivate, how they can sell their products, how they can maintain health and hygienic aspects along with their farming experiences. Like that, a lot of things are there, isn't it? So these are the basic needs we are facing at the time of development of curriculum. In the later sessions, in the later blocks, when we are thinking about the curriculum development, evaluation, and dissemination, at that time we can elaborately think about and discuss about all these things. Now, in the first block, I think I have completed almost all the points, mainly focused in the block 1. Block 1, several units are there. In all units, these headings are given, and in which a lot of other things are incorporated in the study material. I think you should go through that study material also. Sorry, this one. Just you have a look that what all things we have told is given, the basic concepts, terms, features, and other objectives. Like that, everything is given. I am giving you an opportunity to see your material all definitions, what all things we have given. We can cover all the portions within 2-3 classes, I think. With these 2-3 sessions, we can cover almost all the matters given in the courses of this course 1 understanding. See, what we have discussed, everything is given in this study material. So, you may do one more thing. After reading the material, you may go through this progress checking provisions. You, in the given space, you may please write what all brief notes are needed for writing this, for fulfilling the checking process of your progress. If you are preparing the short notes on these type of questions or titles, you will be able to prepare your assignment well. All these points will give you a light on the concept given in the study material, and you can prepare the assignments well. That is why this study material is prepared like this, and you will be able to note down the matters here while going through. You can note down the points arising in your mind. If any advanced things if you are referring something, the references can be written here, and that will also help you to quote some of the things and elaborate in your answers given in the assignments. Like that, the whole things have been covered here in this session. See, all the points are given here. I think this will give you an opportunity to see and to be familiar with your study material also. Like this, the whole blocks we can cover with these counseling sessions. You don't expect that the counselors will complete all the things as such given in the study material. No, it is not possible. That is why we are calling these sessions counseling. So, what are points to be explained or needed further? How we can take that opportunity from your academic counselor. That is why I told you, you have to read the study materials well before coming to the classes. Just you can go through, because you have learned a lot in your related disciplines and your related studies. So simply you can find it out. You focus on the needed areas and discuss the matters with the academic counselors. Then the gap will be filled, and like that, the updated things has to be pointed out these places, because the year-wise some this type of data has been given, and what all difference is there in this data currently. It is available from the concerned sites. You can take it out and you can point these places. That will help you to update while reading the study materials and you can prepare the assignments also as such. You don't try to repeat the matters given in this thing. And plagiarism is one of the biggest concern of IGNOU. While writing the study materials, the assignments, always the academic counselors are checking what has been written from your side and what is repeated as such. So don't try to repeat the matters given in the study materials. And you don't copy from the website. That is not a good practice. And nowadays, there is plagiarism softwares are available, and all the academics are now very much attached with, and they are familiar with these things, and they are equipped with all these plagiarism study materials, plagiarism tools like softwares. What you are submitting can be attached with this thing, and they can find out the relevance and genuineness of your writings. The evaluation will be affecting like this. So Please be means confident and truthful in writing your study materials, please. That is what my advice to you. This way, you can go through this thing. If you have any discussion, all may have to be engaged with the discussions. That is what my request, because the one-way transaction, I don't like it. Yeah, if you are able to contribute from your side for your peer learners, that will be a good practice for us to complete with this thing. Otherwise, I'll go to the next slide. What is needed, you can say. Hmm? Are you able to discuss something? Some more points on the matters given here? Otherwise, we can continue with some other areas. Do you have anything to discuss? Adira?
No, ma'am. Everything is clear. It's clear.
Nothing. Do you have an idea about the things we have discussed? Have you got
Yes,
something?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Already, I have completed net on adult education also.
Okay, okay, okay. Good. So, what about Aditi? Aditi?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, it was quite insightful. This is my first time attending a class on adult education, though I'm working in that department. So it was quite insightful. I don't have anything to include in the discussion as of now. So you can please continue with the next slide.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody? Name?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Neha also, no? So only few students are there, so it is an opportunity to engage with discussions with all. That is why. If you are of the opinion that continuation, definitely I can continue this thing, please. So the next block, please, I'll share that. Just a minute, please. Let me share it.